Today is the 178th birthday of the poet Lola Rodríguez de Tió, who was born in San Germán, Puerto Rico on the 14th of September 1843. With her writings, Rodríguez de Tió inspired many Latin Americans to stand for women's rights, the abolition of slavery, and for both Cuban and Puerto Rican independence. From an early age, the home-tutored poet set herself apart from the norm, cutting her hair short at the age of 17, which she would keep for most of her life. Along with her poems, she would also write articles in the local press speaking against the Spanish regime. In her 1868 revolutionary rendition of La Boricua, she writes, "Doesn't this patriotic call set your heart alight? Come, we will be in tune with the roar of the cannon. Come, Puerto Ricans, come now, for freedom awaits us anxiously." She and her husband Bonicio Tió Segarra would be banished from Puerto Rico twice by the Spanish government, exiling to Venezuela in 1867 and New York in 1889, where they would help many Cuban and Puerto Rican revolutionaries, giving a home to many exiled Latin Americans. She would then spend the rest of her life in Cuba, only returning to Puerto Rico 30 years later in 1919, where her efforts were celebrated with a banquet at the Ateneo Puertorriqueño. At the celebration, she would recite a poem dedicated to her home countries. The final stanza roughly translates, "When I leave your shore, I will be sad and desolate, thinking about the beloved homeland where I first saw the light. My new nest awaits me in another beautiful region, and so by giving you my heart, it's time to say goodbye, Puerto Rico. My two homelands I glorify in the same song." The name Lola Rodríguez de Tió to this day is beloved, with many schools and avenues named in her honor. Today would have marked the 73rd birthday of celebrated jazz and blues musician Henry Butler. Blinded by glaucoma at an early age, Henry Butler would nonetheless join the Louisiana State School for the Blind, before focusing on singing and the piano. He would later be trained at Baton Rouge's Southern University by clarinetist Alvin Batiste. Henry would later work with many renowned jazz and blues musicians, including a record with Corey Harris and opening for the one and only B.B. King. Henry was known for his articulation, quickness, and precision when playing the piano. But music wasn't where his talents ended. Henry Butler would also enjoy photography as a hobby, with his work being shown in galleries all over New Orleans. Butler would unfortunately pass away from cancer on July 2nd, 2018 at the age of 69, but remains a symbol of strength, creativity, and joy to many who may share a similar experience with him. Today marks the 6th anniversary of the Mars Orbiter mission that made India the first Asian nation to reach Mars orbit on the 24th of September 2014. Conducted as the first interplanetary mission by the Indian Space Research Organization, the Mars Orbiter mission, or MOM, left Earth almost a year earlier on the 5th of November 2013. The space probe would actually spend its first month orbiting Earth before heading to Mars on November 30th. The aim for the ISRO was to use the probe as a technology demonstrator, or a prototype for future technology that could prove very useful for interplanetary space travel, as well as uncovering more about the mysteries of Mars. It would take the probe a total of 298 days to reach Mars orbit, where the mission would become a point of pride for India, receiving the National Space Society's Space Pioneer Award in 2015, and featuring on an Indian 2,000 rupee bill. Today would have been the 89th birthday of Argentine tenor saxophonist Leonardo Gato Barbieri. Influenced by the one and only jazz legend John Coltrane, Gato would become a star in his own right during the free jazz movement of the 1960s. Gato was known for fusing Latin influences into his soul and jazz performances. He would even team up with the legendary guitarist Carlos Santana in his most popular song, Europa. Gato would unfortunately pass away at the age of 83 on the 2nd of April 2016, but his influence and memory lives on. He was even the inspiration for the Muppets character Zoot, a saxophone player for the band Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.